Many families don't come to church at all. Haven't been for one generation, or two, or three, and some even four. You talk to some kids and they've never been in a church, and they talk to their parents and they say, well, I never went to church. And their parents say, well, I went to church maybe when I was a kid. So this is like the great-great-grandparents saying, we never went to church. There's more of that out there than we know. They don't really care if God has a place in our society or not, but they don't know if they believe in Him. They don't know if God is with them. They don't really care. Many of them have negative thoughts about God. The media doesn't seem to help very much. We see an awful lot of God bashing. You know, it's always a concern to me when people can desecrate the cross, do all kinds of things to the cross, either in art or other things, and just trash it, the cross of our Lord Jesus, and then if you do one little thing against the Prophet Muhammad, they'll rail against you or throw you in jail or something. We have gone completely the wrong way. There should be respect for religion and not just trashing ours. We're so used to it that we think, well, you know, we should lift other gods up before our own. And that's a great danger. It's one of the great follies that our country is committing right now. And that's why I look at the future of our country and I wonder, where are we going? Where are our families going? Where are our communities going? When we lose respect for God, we lose respect for ourselves. Because the less we have of God in our lives, we become less human. It's a fact. We become less human when we have less of God in ourselves. We don't look on each other as a child of God, as having a spark of the divine in us, as God's breath in us. We are just animals. No different than any other. Well, we are different. We're the children of the living God. He has created us special and for a purpose. And when we tear that aside and throw it aside and treat it like it's trash, then we're in a heap of trouble. And my prayer for this 4th of July is that this nation will recover as families. It has to start there. A love and a respect and a fear, a healthy fear of God. And to know that the freedoms that we have are based on the Judeo-Christian heritage. They truly are. And if we don't know the Judeo-Christian heritage, and if we don't respect it, then where do our freedoms go from there? Respect for the country goes down the drain with it. Did you see that out in California last week? For years there's been a flag painted near on an overpass along a highway, and it was a big American flag. Somebody painted there, and the state decided that was graffiti. And here, just this week before the 4th of July, they came and just painted it over and just took it away. Of course, the governor got mad when he heard about it, because he had to get mad about it when he heard about it. But it makes me wonder, you know, if he knew about it in advance or whatever. But that wasn't graffiti. That was a symbol of our nation. We need to have a heart for the unchurched. We need to have a heart for them because we want them to know salvation that comes from God. And we also want them to know about the heritage, what makes our people, our nation, a great people. It's not just a nation of laws, it's a nation of morality. And when we cast that aside, then we decide our own fate, don't we? So my prayer is that we as a nation will have a revival of the Spirit of the living God, and that we will decide to live for God and to refine those principles upon which our nation is based. I know I'm preaching to the choir. You're here. You know it. You go outside these doors and there's a lot of people who don't know. And the gods that they are serving are the gods of money, or the gods of clothing, or the gods of getting, or the gods of something. But they're not the gods of service. They're not the gods of sacrifice. They're not the gods of the living God. The principles that come from our Lord. And when we become a self-seeking nation and a self-serving nation, then our doom is fixed. I pray that we won't go that way. We're a great nation. We're a wonderful country. We've done many things and we will do many great things. But we have to turn this around. This is a big ship. America's a big ship, and it's got a lot of different parts to it. And it's complicated. But nothing is too hard for God when his people gather together to do the work. And so the work is prayer, my friends. The work is prayer. And praying for our country, and praying for a revival of faith, and in doing our parts and making that happen as best we can right here in Paulding County. It sounds mundane almost to say that. We think of the big world, but we have to do what we can right here. And change us. And change our town. And change our county. And bring more people to understand the love of God. We'll pray for revival from there on out, the rest of our wonderful nation. I pray God's blessings on you on this 4th of July. God bless America. God bless this great nation. And when we say those words, do we really mean them? May God bless us. But we have to understand that it's a if-then. God's just not going to rain down his blessings continually. It depends on how we act, how we respond. And I pray that we will respond with faith, with trust, and with hope in the one who gives us life.